All right. Good night, everyone. Archval here from TTDC, and I'm joined by Trinity.
Hey everybody, what's up?
And welcome to our podcast, episode one. Tonight, we're going to be discussing two main topics of interest. One would be the International 2017, which begins tomorrow, the 2nd of August. And we,
Excited!
yep, I will also be discussing GamesCon that would have taken place earlier in July. So joining us in a short while would be the CEO of ESCL, which is Mr. Kevin Leoping, along with some of the members from the winning teams for the second and third place. So before that, how was your weekend, Dota?
Well, boy, IRL up and downs in Dota this week. So, I mean, most people wouldn't know, but originally when I calibrated, I was 4K MMR, and then I started playing Dota, and then I just constantly drop in and can't find my way now. So I'm using this international MMR to kind of get back on my feet and hopefully reach somewhere.
A
So
saving grace.
yeah, reach 4K and then just stop play solo forever. So I play about 7 games international MMR and win all. So I had a real good week in terms of that.
Oh, so time for to start losing an arrow now.
Yeah, well, I play some games with a certain captain from the middle feed, Tony. And boy, that was pressure. I'm glad it wasn't ranked. I'm real glad it was just normal games. But you ever see a axe go on this double attack item?
Echo Saber.
Yeah. Axe by a Echo Saber, first item. Well boy, I never see more.
Oh, that sounds like a Coco Axel.
Roger for the win, yes?
Well, yes. And actually, you said, don't worry, don't worry.
Yeah, he got this. That's self. But yeah, so that was my weekend, Dota. Not bad.
All right. I didn't get a chance to play much this week. I just played a couple of games. Yeah, probably just 2. So I need to play one more to get my slack drop.
Yeah, well, I what did yesterday? Yesterday I didn't really play Dota, but yesterday I opened my Dota. I get a bunch of invites. I declined all, and I just went to my compendium and put
Why
my
decline?
fantasy.
That's probably those guys.
Nah, put my fantasy. I will fix up my fantasy and thing, boy.
All right.
Yeah, man.
Oh,
Right.
yeah, that's true. When I was fixing up my stuff, I get a set of invites. It's like, can't talk. Fix it. Because
Frick that
I
shit.
think for the last 2 majors, I said, yeah, I'll do it. And I didn't. And I
And
ended
it
up
forget.
missing. Look, even the prediction for the prize pool. I was going to predict 25 mil. Like I was selling things, Roger was selling them. And he's like, nah, I think I reached 25. I was like, yes, us. And I didn't put in my prediction. If it reached 25, I miss out on them levels, boy.
Yeah. Well, where you go do, bro?
Indeed.
Right. So, the international, right? 2017 starts tomorrow, August 2nd, and continues on until August 12th for the grand finals. So we have 2 groups, right? Right, Group A, Evil Geniuses, TNC, Team Liquid, IG Vitality, LGD, Fnatic, Team Secret, Team Empire, and Infamous. What are your predictions for this group, Shannon?
Boy, I don't know. As usual, I want a fanboy on the secret, but I don't know, boy. When it comes to these major events, it is burn you. As I tell you, it's called Secret the West Indies Adota. Because
Yeah, is the same thing right
from them, but they just do pull through. I don't know if this year they're gonna surprise us and do well. But the groups, I want to think that they balance. But the average person would watch and see, they would see like Liquid and Secret, Empire, LGD, TNC in one group and say, okay, that's real strong. But the favorites, OG and VP, I in the other group, and I actually think that VP has it in them to win TI.
Funny enough,
So
I actually thought I am favoring towards VP or LFY.
mhm.
I
And
actually
LFY is also in the group with VP. I
um,
think B would be a highly contested group.
so for those that don't know, Group B is OG, Cloud9, Newbie, Invictus Gaming, Virtus Pro, Digital Chaos, LGD, LFY, sorry, Execration, and Hellraisers. Just a quick question. What have you seen from Execration and Hellraisers? I mean, they're not necessarily the most well-known teams, but they have some big players. You know.
Well, Execution and Hellraisers, especially Hellraisers, they have been around for a little while. Like, if I'm not mistaken, I could be wrong here. Hellraisers, the DAC that EG1,
Mm-hmm.
Hellraisers, and I think CDEC and Rave and so on were popular around that time. If not, Hellraisers came before after, and they were pretty good. They were doing well in tournaments. You were seeing them performing, and when it came to the major events, they kind of fell short. So now with the new lineup that they have, um, I don't know the players individually that well, but seeing them play to reach where they are, they seem to be doing well. Execution, on the other hand, I think they kind of they might be the bottom team. I feel
You feel
like
so?
yeah, I feel that they reached TI, but that's just it.
You think that's not just you know the other teams, so you're thinking they will just run over them
No, well,
rather
when
than
if I saw them play, and even like I was taking in the the guys like Purge and so on who were doing their predictions, and they were expecting Execution to come out at the bottom as well. So it's like, I mean, they would have more knowledge because they follow them on a regular basis.
very well, very well.
Yeah.
I have one more question.
Hmm.
What about our one of my most looked at and favored teams from old Cloud9
Hmm.
back in the source.
The Cloud9 is back. The team, what do you call them? The team of rejects, the team that get kicked out. I don't know. Back with the eternal autism, as they call him. I didn't come up with the name. Sorry, that offends anyone, but yeah.
So you don't see them really putting up too much.
No. I mean, look at that team. Envy, Fata, MSS, Aoi, and Pilot. I mean, a year ago, 2 years ago, you hear that. They say, what? That's a bomb squad?
True.
But what's something people may have forgotten? Esports, not just esports, sports in general, but esports specifically, is a young man's game. If you watch a man, like they say puppy age, and you watch a man like say Abed or Ramsey's age, they're men in their prime. These older guys, they might still have skill in them, but I mean, APM and so on is a big thing in gaming. They don't have it in them. How much drugs, how much roids they could take? Like, come on, shoot a laser beam to the eye, something. We can do. How much monster you can drink,
Mm-hmm.
Like
True.
RTZ and Sumi and all these guys growing up. So I wouldn't be surprised if not TI, the next major, one of the teams that we see winning is a team with younger guys.
So a high possibility that some of the lesser known teams in these tournaments will actually be the coming up teams in the next set of series, within the next few years.
Mm-hmm.
So who knows? Maybe we'll see Execution or Hellraisers bring out some monsters over the next few years and do out with some of these older teams.
Yeah. Well, remember, it could just be the brand because an example would be like, I look at Fnatic. When Fnatic was great with Honey and them, that was a real nice team. And then Fnatic disbanded. And then it was reformed. They were Mushi and so on. Yeah, they got picked up by Fnatic, and that's a new Fnatic. Or like if you want to look at even like Navi, the only person on Navi who is still from Navi is Dendi. If Dendi out of the picture, is a whole new team.
and we'll always remember Dandy
Mhm.
from that TI years ago. I will never forget the greatest moment of TI ever is that Rubik tied steel into
Yep.
Enigma BKB. It was such brilliance. It was so brilliant. Oh my god. Anyway, right. Um yeah, so that's enough about these teams,
Hmm.
They
The format for these games, they would be best of twos. Yeah, best of twos in the group stage. And the first match, if I'm not mistaken, it starts in about 14 hours.
mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah. So that's about, say, about 10. Was that 10? 10 o'clock? 12 o'clock?
Yeah,
It's
somewhere
9,
around
it's
there.
10, I say 10 now, 12, 10. Yeah, about 12 o'clock tomorrow lunchtime. Somewhere
Yeah.
around that time. But that would be EG versus TNC.
So we know for sure my office shut down in terms of my job.
Yes.
It had nothing I doing tomorrow from 12.
Yeah, I know some guys, they used to take vacation when TI come around. Sit down to watch TI. I have done it myself at times.
Yeah, well, it's sick.
Hey, TI is life. TI is life.
Boy, take sick days, boy. It's just a week. Yeah, dengue.
Yeah.
You don't need to take
Yeah.
vacation.
No, well, I mean, if yeah, it's vacation. Yeah, I don't think was it sick, boy? I really can't remember. I think it was vacation. So hopefully these games go well tomorrow. I'm hoping that during work and so on, I actually get the chance to view as much of this game because watching it live and then watching the replays, it's just not the same. So the tomorrow's day one. The group stage is going to go on to the 5th, which is on Saturday. And
Mm-hmm.
then matches will resume on Monday, if I'm not mistaken, on the 7th. And the finals would be on Saturday, grand finals of the international.
All right, something to look forward to.
Hmm. We'll be
Wonderful.
talking about the grand finals in just a little bit. We'll be discussing that. So, someone told me that they're not seeing the live stream. It's not loading, but I'm seeing that we're live. I wonder why is that.
Technical difficulties. I am also seeing that as live.
And are you seeing the stream coming through?
One sec.
Because hopefully, even if it doesn't come to live, at least the VOD will be there, so people will get to see it. So, in the meantime, I will. So, moving on, we're going to discuss GamesCon. That would have been earlier last month. We're now in August, so last month. And GamesCon, the event that's hosted by ESCL. And to tell us a little bit more about that, we'll be inviting the CEO of ESCL, Kevin, to join us. He will be joining us shortly.
Just on a side note,
Mhm.
the podcast did load for me.
Oh, so you're seeing it and so on?
It is, yes, it is there.
All right, the audio and then coming through?
Uh-huh.
Okay, great. Okay, so let me make sure.
Hello.
Hello! All right, so everyone, this is Kevin Liaping, the
Hi.
CEO of Esports Caribbean League. Hello, Kevin.
Hi.
Hey Kevin, what's up?
I'm good, and you?
All is well.
How's your week been so far, Kevin?
Pretty hectic. Very hectic. Trying to
I
fix the
guess.
website up to standard.
Mm-hmm. All right. So for those out there who might be listening that may not know, I'll give them a little rundown of what ESCL is and what GamesCon is.
Yeah, sure. Well, Esports Caribbean League is a company which is seeking to try to raise the standard of professional video game tournaments in Trinidad and Tobago and in the Caribbean region. We tried to do that with our flagship event called GamesCon, which is supposed to be the largest video game tournament in the whole Caribbean. We've featured 10 different games at GamesCon, in League of Legends, Dota 2, some of the fighting games, and even Hearthstone. And we're just looking to keep expanding it, some into first-person shooter games, probably some racing games in the future. So that's what we're trying to do.
All right, all right. And this year would have been the third iteration of GamesCon so far,
Yep.
and you would have done it in a new location. Last 2 years would have been at TV, and now we had it at the auditorium at Prima College.
Yes.
So how you liking the new location?
Well, the new location in itself is pretty good. However, I think the location of the venue was a bit out of the way for persons to get to. So unfortunately, we didn't see the kind of numbers we would have seen if we would have had it in the East-West corridor.
Yes, corridor. Yeah. Because one of the benefits of having it at that last venue was foot traffic, because a lot of the people who would have been interested, they're actually right there on campus, and they just go across and walk across.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, but even Roytech students were in Naparima College this year, but the kind of foot traffic wasn't there, but also the communities as well didn't come out as well.
Right. Any idea why you think that might have happened?
Well, I don't want to only blame the location. But I think it's one of the major things that did affect the entire turnout. But from the gamers aspect of it, I think the price point was a bit high for some persons. But the thing about it is, in the past, people have been comfortable with it. But this year, we kind of introduced a late registration fee, and it was really to try to encourage people to pre-register and not have people show up on the day to register, because it's, from a tournament organizer perspective, it's much harder to do up brackets.
It's chaotic. That's very chaotic.
Yeah, it's chaotic. And when especially it's not one game, it's 10 different games I have to manage. So having that late registration is real hectic to try to do up brackets, to confirm who's here and who's not here, and things slip through the crack like they've done in the last few GamesCon. So it was a bit chaotic, and unfortunately, I don't know if that was also a deterrent for people to come out to compete.
I know what I mean. And as much as you try to help out people, like allow them to enter events, late registrations or whatnot, people still end up burning you.
Yeah. I know, because even the League of Legends and Dota 2 community, because their games have to be played online for preliminaries, because we don't have the time or the equipment to set up for the one-day event, they are allowed to pay on the day, which I don't want to encourage. But at the same time, I've been burned in the past, and I've been burned at this GamesCon, where the teams that did not show up, did not make it to the top 4, the top 3, ended up not paying.
Yep. So, because if it is that they do make, they say, well, if I make it, I have to get the prize. So
yeah,
worst case scenario, let's get the prize. But if not, well, I'm not going to pay.
Correct.
That's
bad. It's unfortunate because the prize pool now is at jeopardy. And from my perspective, the organizer perspective, it's like I don't have the income now to pay out the prizes. So I now have to make the loss and buy the bullet and to pay out the prizes for people who showed up and had the interest to, not be deterred to come back because the prize pool was suddenly just dropped.
Exactly. But because at the end of the day, these guys, they would just see, well, we were supposed to get this, we didn't get this. And they don't really care.
Yeah.
It's not somebody else. But they need to understand, because I think part of the problem is that these gamers have bad habits. And the reason why sometimes that their bad habits are entertained is that if you try to be too strict with them, you could end up mashing up an entire tournament,
Yeah.
or people getting sour. But I think from now on, TOs need to bite the bullets and stand their ground,
Mm-hmm.
because we need to set a precedence going forward that these things need to be done professionally, and these guys, they know how to play the game, but
Mm-hmm.
not many of them know how to organize an event or what it takes when it comes to the managing aspect of an event or a game.
Yeah.
And they might bump the gun how much they want, but at the end of the day, if they want to play, they're gonna have to play, right?
Yeah.
And I think we need to start implementing things like having them sign contracts or a waiver or some sort of thing like that. So they need to fulfill the obligations, and if they don't, there are some sort of ramifications, whether they be banned from future events or
Mm-hmm.
monetary deductions.
Yeah.
But I think that's something that the TOs locally need to come together and form a standard. But you know how it is with the Trinidadian community and
Mm-hmm.
esports and gaming when it comes to working together.
Yeah.
Crab and barrel syndrome.
Mm-hmm. And that's just how it is, unfortunately, on the back end of things, where players may not know all the things that are happening in the back, but these things need to be sorted out in order for the player experience to be better.
Hmm. So, in terms of the Dota 2 event at GamesCon, what are your thoughts on it from the few years it's been?
Um, well, I think it's on my end is progressing pretty nicely.
Hmm.
In the first year, we had 8 teams, but a lot of technical difficulties went into the actual day's events, where the finals ended up being played online. And I think from then we've grew to the second event, where things finished on the day, but pretty late at
Hmm.
about 10 o'clock in the night. But this year we actually started on relatively on time.
We
Um,
started an hour and a half late. We already started at 9 and we
yeah,
started at half 10.
yeah. But we ended up finishing before 8 o'clock, which to me
Hmm.
was pretty good.
That was a
Um,
celebration. Like,
and that
Dota
was a
GamesCon
celebration in
finished
itself.
before.
Yeah.
Like, what?
Yes. But other than the little time frame that we had power go, I think that was really the only hiccup.
Yeah,
Um,
the power.
and I
And,
think, yeah, I think for next year, depending on where we host it, it will be better. I think the transitions, or the team of GamesCon, the Dota 2 at least, have gotten better. And I think just the small glitches were just things that you can't avoid, but at the same time you're still trying to avoid them.
yep.
I think it's been growing. Well, at least the administrative part of it has been getting easier. We're
Hmm.
still looking to try to grow the player base, though, because only having 8 teams, or even this year 7 teams, isn't going to cut it, because in terms of sustainability, it needs to start growing. It needs to get 10 teams, 12 teams, 16 teams, because
I
we
agree.
can't keep having tournaments just for 8 teams, and there's no growth in that.
And what I noticed is that what would have happened earlier this year is that we announced it. We didn't have much response. As you know, people like to wait last minute for I don't know what
Yeah.
reason to make it harder for us or something.
Yeah.
And it was only because Trinity, he went on a drive. Was like, okay, no, we had to have games kind of this year because
Yeah.
you know the way it was looking, we wouldn't get it. And then we say, okay, we will just do 4. So we think we'll get the 4 teams, and all of a sudden, other teams wanted to enter, which was good. And
Yep.
what I like too is that plenty of the teams were new teams.
Hmm.
And I like that because some of the older teams, the guys that are in the community, they have this attitude that if they don't play in a tournament, the tournament wouldn't happen. We need them. So they have this sort of entitlement. Now that we have new guys coming into the scene, they could be how much, like how entitled they want to feel. We're going to still do the tournament whether they play or not. And that's a good thing because we need the community to grow and we need guys to realize that for Dota or any other game to get anywhere, we need some sort of camaraderie. We need people to work together.
Yes.
And holding a TO at ransom then, or holding an event at ransom, and having to basically beg people in the past to come out to fulfill to fill up an event then to try to get 8 teams. It's
Mhm.
nonsense to me. And there are
Yeah,
so many guys who play. And we last tournament that we would have done, as you would know, the middle fee tournament, it went really well. And the majority of that event were new players.
right.
And I think that was probably one of the better events we've ever done. Whether or not these guys were new to the formats and they were certain things that were little hiccups because they never played an event before. They were well behaved most of the time and they obeyed most of the rules. They did what they're supposed to do. And there are guys who have been playing in our events like more than 2 years and they still can't do that. So that says a lot.
Right. It does. But I'm happy to hear that this middle feed event was successful, that it brought on new players, because from my tournament organizer perspective, if you're telling me this, that we have new players, then that means the market is growing,
Hmm.
and that means we can have more teams for future events, whether it be at GamesCon or any other event that we're looking to host for
Agreed.
DotA specific.
I think part of the problem was that, and to us it might sound strange, but there are still so many players out there who say they didn't know, they didn't
Yeah.
hear, they haven't heard, and we wonder, but like, I mean, for us on a daily basis, we would see posts because we're in the thick of it. But to these guys, through I guess different marketing this year and so on and promotion, they would have seen, okay, there's DotA events locally and there's a tournament, and
Mhm.
the fact that this one, they didn't have anything to lose because it's free, and we cut off the bracket,
The
so
MMR, yeah.
everybody was on a more level playing field for the new guys. It pulled them into the event. It attracted them, and we're hoping to do events like that in the future to keep it at that level,
Yeah.
to keep these guys competitive. And as they get better at the game, they can move up into the events with the better players, where they could probably even win better prizes.
Mhm. Mhm. And I agree with that, because that's essentially what ESCL wants to do as well, which is host these smaller tournaments, even if it's online, and start building the community. Because what we really need to do to carry GamesCon to a bigger event is that we need to start integrating some of the communities and getting them to come out, even though they're casual gamers, and they may not be interested in competing per se, but we need to start getting these casual people out as well, so that they could just come online, come and spectate, come and just support, because esports is growing globally, and my hope for Trinidad and Caribbean is that we could grow with them and reach those standards as well. So
Exactly.
it
Yeah.
doesn't make
Just to
sense to
get it
stay
out
at
there.
home.
So hopefully now some one or two of the members from the GamesCon Dota 2 event that would have been from Foskia, NLD, and No Chill should be joining us shortly. So while we make sure that they have the links, I'll send it to them again. Yeah. So I'm hoping that going forward. Okay, they seem like they're getting an error. Hold a second. Yeah. So going forward, that these guys that we want, the unheard of guys, so the guys that are afraid to enter because they're afraid, the big dogs in the yard or whatnot,
Mhm.
and the ones who best don't know. I think we need to probably discuss or go over different ways to probably reach these people, because if it is that the old habits or the old methods of trying to find these people or get them in the know for the event, it didn't work before. Probably need to find new methods to get it out there. Let them know that there's an event.
Yeah.
And I think this year the marketing was a little better across the board, both on our side and ESCL's. You had
Right.
a good team and so on.
Yeah. Yeah, this the only downfall to the marketing this year was that we actually started pretty late.
Yeah, yeah.
We actually started 1 month before GamesCon, which is very last minute. But at ESL was trying to fix things on a legal standpoint, to get up and running. So we just unfortunately couldn't start any earlier. But from next year, of course, we won't have to fix any legal issues, and we will be able to start on time
All right, so joining us here
or
is
earlier.
Shenlong
Yo.
from the captain of NLD, Nuclear Launch Detected. They actually won the Dota 2 event at GamesCon, so congratulations again.
Thanks.
So with us here, Flus, or Trinity, and Kevin. You would have know both of these guys.
Yep. Sup, Shen?
What's going on, man?
So
Was
how's,
great.
how's your weekend in Dota so far, Shen?
My week?
Yep.
Pretty casual. It's been taking it easy, just playing a couple in houses.
Wait, so it's just in houses you played whole week?
Yeah. Um.
Banning and Vulcan thing from what I've seen.
Yeah. Just try to have as much fun as I can.
Okay.
Really and cool.
So how was your experience this year at GamesCon for the Dota event?
Um. It was. I mean, from our experience from you guys' side is
Mhm.
pretty good. Personally, I thought, well, honestly, you keep every year you keep coming with these documents, and
Mhm.
I try to understand and follow the rules or whatever, but
Right.
it is like it's too much information and it's kind of hard for me to follow.
Well, before I
Time zone,
respond to
but
that,
I
welcome.
do the best I can.
Paul.
But yeah, that's the only problem. But that
Well,
these
I
are
could
the
understand if I had made the documents last week. I mean, most of these documents I made almost 2 years ago. For
yeah.
you guys, and going forward, I mean, at least for you and your team who trying to get out there, you all had to get accustomed to these things because you know when you go to bigger events, the documents like this is gonna be like small compared to what you're gonna have because it's legal stuff or they're gonna have to read and sign and so on.
Yeah,
So
well,
but most of the
uh,
things in the documents are basically just to kind of cover what ifs. The general things are you always the same. It's just mostly information and normal things how to join your lobby and things that you all already know. Because you know when we host a tournament with guys like that know the procedure, we don't bother to go over that. It's like everybody knows the procedure.
yeah.
So I'm not sure if you all noticed, but Paul joined us. So welcome, Paul.
Good night, Tolly Mark.
Yes, you can hear you. So Paul is the captain of the third place team of GamesCon. No chill. So congrats, Paul.
Thanks.
We're just asking Christian how his weekend Dota was. So how was your weekend Dota?
Um, well, I took a break from Dota and I just came back for GamesCon just to play for fun, really.
All right. So you didn't play any Dota since?
A bit here and there, but we wasn't really practiced for the tournament.
Okay.
It was like our last minute decision.
So, Paul, I have a question. Did you or did you not play a game with a brilliant Rubik sometime? Was it this morning?
I don't know what you're talking about. I now forgot.
Alright, bro. No scene.
So Sherlong was actually given his thoughts on the GamesCon event the Dota this year. You finished? I don't know.
No, I had more to say.
Okay, well you continue.
Go ahead.
Yeah, well, they have the docs.
Mhm.
The event itself was like the setup was good. I think it was pretty. It was. I don't really have many complaints about that. They have 10 working PCs. It's just the power issues and the internet
Yeah.
was a problem. Um, I mean, yeah, actually had a decent. I mean, it wasn't as big as UE, but it would have done the job. They,
If
but
it turned out was better and if we didn't
yeah,
have those technical
the real
difficulties.
problem was the turnout. Um, and I think you were saying because it was in South, it might have been one of the reasons.
Yeah, because apparently people are afraid to touch a highway.
Yeah,
They get lost and whatnot. So it's like, oh god, we're going beyond the wall.
Um, one big issue we had with the tournament is the scheduling of games. It's like we were our team was on for the first couple of days because we just wanted to get our games done as soon as
Right.
possible. Um, so we to do just so we're free after. But
I think
organizing
you all
routines
spent
and
more time waiting on your games than actually playing the games, huh?
yeah, we definitely did probably spend like maybe like twice as long waiting and playing. Um, I'm not really sure what you could put in place to resolve that, but
Well, I'm not sure if you listened rest before you joined, but Kevin and I were discussing the measures and so on, enforcing the rules from now on going forward because we usually bend the rules a lot because we want at the end of the day we want these tournaments to happen. We want the gamers to be able to play.
yeah,
But when we give them an inch and they don't take
yeah,
a mile, they take an entire continent, you know, because they think, okay, well, we had a pretty game. So if we don't play the game now, we're going to play it next week. Or they
yeah,
don't see it as a priority. So even though we say, okay, the game's starting tonight, how simple tonight, we end the tournament by Sunday. But I'm sure the whole tournament end up on Sunday. And it's something that we need to put in place. And I noticed that the new guys who came in for middle feed, they were actually expecting it to run on time. And which I'm glad because we're going to be doing that from now on. And if it is that I don't like the idea, but if it is the tournament, have to hit people a few forfeits well for them to learn. That's the way because I mean, as I always say, if you can't commit, don't sign up. That's how a
yeah,
tournament is. Because I don't know if you would know for sure because you grew up in this. In a one day tournament, you
yeah,
reach your match
yeah,
time start. That's time for that to move on to the next game.
yeah,
Kevin, your thoughts?
I completely agree with you. It's something that I don't want to do, which is the forfeit option. But at
Hmm.
the same time, we need to kind of start enforcing people to show up on time because even in LOL as well, they did have a specific team wait for nearly 2 hours for our next team, which is ridiculous. So I completely agree with you, and that should not be happening.
It shouldn't. We generally, as I said, we generally don't like to do it, but this time we actually had to do it. No Chill was supposed to play in Bad Trues, if I'm not mistaken, and they were waiting. And one of they chose to wait instead of using their sub, which I can't understand because if you're going to end up with a forfeit, that means automatic loss. So play with the sub and at least try to win. They choose not to do that, and they had to end up
Took the
getting a
loss.
forfeit. Yeah, they took the forfeit. They had no choice.
Okay.
We left it up to well, I didn't want to leave it totally unfair, so I asked Nuchel what they wanted to do, if they would wait or if they want to go ahead, and obviously they want to win, so they said they would take the win because we couldn't wait any longer. We had the hour pass. So when we were supposed to start the second game, they would have been starting the first game, and we didn't have the time for that, and we had to give them the forfeit,
yeah.
Yeah.
and that was the best
One
of
thing
three.
though,
Mhm.
I know they one thing you could maybe I'm not saying to use it for GamesCon or but if you're having small tournaments, you could maybe try using Face It because it's very it's like real precise and you
Right.
have to sign up and if you're 15 minutes late you get forfeit. But they also had like a lot of issues with people having trouble joining the lobby in game.
Mhm.
Like one new team RF it was they spend like a good
A
half hour
long
trying to
time.
join the
Well,
lobby.
that's part of the reason why I end up making the simple documents without much text because I know you all don't like to read. I actually put
Yeah,
in pictures. That's how I clicked. And I asked these guys like a week before, like, you all saw the document? Yeah. You all know what to do? Yeah. Then they would come the 5 minutes before the match. Well, how they reach?
yeah, but like um, I think Face It it's pretty good because I mean you literally just sign up on the site,
Right?
hit join tournaments, and when it's match time, you get automatic invites to the lobby,
Right.
so
Hmm.
you don't even have to like
So you think it would be a better option than what we're
yeah.
using right now?
But the thing with that is that's only feasible if you're having like 1 day tournaments, or
Right.
actually I think you could have them over multiple days,
Hmm.
but it's a kind of tournament where the organizers have to decide when the games will be played or to be played, and not up to the players themselves now.
Okay, I actually like that. So I think it's something that we'd explore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
actually creating our own time slots and letting them choose which time slot they are
It
available.
was something that I was looking at, and
Yeah, it's something that I was considering as well, but I just didn't want to be all hard and fast and say, hey, you must play at this time or else kind of thing. I wanted to, I personally just like to give the option to the teams. But if they taken a year and a half to decide when they want to play, that don't make
and
sense.
exactly because this is, as I said before, this is the third year we've had GameCon, DotA at GamesCon, and many of the problems that we have experienced at the first year and throughout events, we're still experiencing it.
Yeah.
And a lot of these players are not on the TO's fault. It's on the players
Yeah.
because we rely heavily on them honoring their commitment to play these games on time, which they don't.
Mhm.
So if it is that the format is set and they don't make it on time, we can't reschedule it. That's just how it runs.
Yeah.
They know they need to make the commitment. And if it is that they know they wouldn't be able to make the commitment, they don't have a sub, whatever, they have to sign up.
Yeah.
We could always do casual tournaments on the side.
Yeah.
Doesn't mean all tournaments have to be like that, but at
Yeah,
least
I think for GamesCon as well, if we're looking to do that, then we have to plan it out from months in advance. This is the schedule, whether it be every Tuesday night, Friday night, Saturday night, and this is the times you have to play.
we somewhat tried that before, like we told them when it would be, but uh,
Yeah, well, we could look at it again.
but we didn't enforce it. We didn't
Right.
enforce it. That was the thing. So as long as I think getting the schedule done is not that hard, especially if it is that somebody players are going to school and so on. You just
Mhm.
generally avoid school time, exam time, and you try to put it more like say like a long weekend, especially like say for example, say Easter,
Yeah.
where you have a lot of time, unless the majority of the players not going to be around. It isn't that hard. So it's something we'll definitely look into.
Yeah.
So, anything else, Channel?
No, I think that's it.
What about you, Paul?
My thoughts on the events.
Mm-hmm.
I think it was a lot better than last year in terms of the LAN setup because I think last year we had some major feedbacks on our microphones, headsets.
Yeah,
I
the
was
fact that
pretty
you're not sitting right next to the projector screen.
and we couldn't see the screens properly and the loud noises from the speakers. It was a lot better. And but in my opinion, I think out of all the events, I think the first GamesCon was the best for me.
Why is that?
Just because of all the teams came out, like how many they were, 10, 8.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean, that's
on the day itself.
yeah, on the day itself, and we met everyone, and it was more like a more community.
Yep.
Yeah.
I personally, I
But
mean,
I understand why you take the top 3 because scheduling and times and stuff.
if it is we're doing events in the future, if it's not GamesCon itself, um, let's say for example, ESCL has the hardware, so you will have played on it. To do an event in the future where we do, let's say, like a single elimination best of one, that's more than enough time to get a mini tournament done. So it's something that we're looking into. That might actually be because, as I've said before, and I'll always say, these physical events they do a lot more for the community and the events on the whole than let's say online event because everybody just sit down behind the computer. Whereas when you meet people in person, you form different bonds with them now.
But I must say the top three teams going to the LAN event is pretty harsh. Speaking as a low skill player, like I'm not sure to make it. And if I sign up to this tournament and I had to watch in the seat,
Mm.
I mean it's a
Yeah.
LAN tournament and making it to LAN. But fortunately I did. But I don't know how the others might feel about that.
Mm-hmm.
As I had to register and they only
Yeah.
played online and they wanted a LAN experience.
Right. I think that has a lot to do with equipment and setup. The first year for GamesCon, we had 40 PCs, which 30 of them were rented. But if we're looking to go in that route again, then we need to have the same kind of amount of PCs, which is 40. But it's difficult because right now I only have 20, and if I have to rent out 20, it wouldn't make sense with the kind of income we receive just from DotA 2 when it comes to registration and also spectators versus the expenses to rent PCs or to pay all these price pools. So from a business perspective, that really doesn't make financial sense. But we can look and see how we could do these smaller tournaments with 20 PCs than now that ESCL has 20 PCs.
Yeah, like especially if it's a Dota 2 event and not a split event.
Yeah.
But one thing to note too, as I would say from a business point of view, is that it's one thing to say, okay, I want to do something for event, but if it is that the community for that game doesn't show the support, why would a business want to invest this when you don't see people coming out? And that's
Um,
something I think we need to address.
um, I, I understand what you're saying, because on a business perspective, it do make sense really to continue with DotA, because the income isn't there to say that we're making a profit or anything like that. But I don't know. I think I still have the vision for it on esports in a general. Dota 2 is part of esports and a major part of it. And I think that's one of the reasons why I keep it around. Although it's still a lost position right now, hopefully that once the community could start showing up or we build the community, then the potential is there, because for international tournaments as well, it's easier to qualify for international tournament from Trinidad than it is for LOL. And
Yeah, because they have so many restrictions and so
yeah,
on.
because they have a lot of restrictions for League of Legends and stuff like that. But Dota 2 is much easier for a Trinidadian team to say, hey, if I want to go TI, then we could really go for TI. And I think that is also one of the reasons why I keep Dota on the table.
That's good. Yeah, I think if it is you had to do it on your own, you'd have probably drop it.
Yeah,
a couple of years ago.
I think but I would have dropped it as well.
Yeah. So, any plans for Dota in the near future, or would there be GamesCon again next year? Any updates yet, or
Yeah,
can't say yet?
ESCL wants to start doing an online tournament every single month. At least for these first 3 months, which would be September. It might start in August, but pending approval. But it definitely will start from September, October, November. We want to do 3 online tournaments, and it will just be single elimination, best of 1, 8 teams. If we could get more, then that's great. But it's really just to try to build community and bring them out. It's free. We're going to be free registration, and the prize is really just first prize, winner take all kind of thing, of $500 TT. It's being sponsored currently right now by Green Dot. which we still
I
need
laugh.
to, because we still have to do the paperwork up. But right now, Green Dot is looking like the sponsor for the event.
Okay.
And we plan to do GamesCon again next year, but we're looking to relocate back to the East West corridor. Just need to find an appropriate venue.
Okay.
And yeah, depending on how these 3 online tournaments go in September, October, November, then we may look to do another LAN event early next year. And we definitely will keep Dota in mind at the back of our heads to push esports in Trinidad.
All right. Any other thoughts, Shenlong or Paul?
When you say sponsored by Green Dot, you don't mean necessarily that the games ought to be hosted on.
No.
No.
Because we had a situation before with another organization.
Yeah, I know.
Said it was okay.
No, it's not like that. The sponsorship really comes as marketing on our website, which is they are allowed to put a logo, Green Dot logo, on our website, and that's a form of sponsorship. Really, it's really just they paying for marketing space, but it's really to sponsor this online tournaments.
Yeah.
Yeah, but there will be no restrictions.
All right, that's good to hear.
All right. One other thing too, with these tournaments that we're going to probably be doing in the future, would these be open tournaments? Would they be limited to certain MMR brackets, or you're still deciding?
We're still deciding, because we do want to have a more inclusive event or online tournament. So yes, we want to take the absolute scrubs to the absolute pro players, and we want to try to capture all those demographics. But we also recognize that you can't put pros to play scrubs all the time, because then scrubs will get deterred, pros will keep winning, and there will be no cycle of teaching or learning or mentoring in that sense. It's just pub stomp, really.
Yep.
So we may have restrictions, but we will look at changing it up, because we could have an inclusive one of everybody, just like GamesCon is, or we could look to start tailoring it. Okay, 1,000 to 2,500 MMR first tournament, second tournament is really 2,000 to 4,000, and we just mix it up a bit so we could capture all the demographics of players.
Okay.
All right. And another thing. What about like other Caribbean countries? Yo, would
Yeah,
they
so with the online tournaments, I am not limiting it to Trinidad, because there's no land finals.
Yeah.
So yes, I do want to open it up to the other Caribbean islands, because that's where the
Regional only, right?
well, I'll say regional only, yes, for now. Although, because I don't want nobody from China just come in and kill everybody off,
Yeah, the way about China is any.
or North America, anyone. But yeah, I do want to expand to the Caribbean region, and that's the focus, to expand there. So yeah, I'll open it up to all the Caribbean islands. I don't know if there is a Facebook group for DotA 2 regional, but if there
Not
is,
yet, but what we're hoping to do in the upcoming events is invite teams from these other communities, because in the past we have had at least one Jamaican team take part
right,
in one of the tournaments. And from what I understand, other than Jamaica, there are other two communities in the other islands. So I want to at least
right,
invite one team to come across from each country, a region, any region that exists, or
yeah,
community exists, and see if we can get like a inter-island, a regional event, even if it's just like say like a fun event.
yeah.
Start.
Well, for me, that's the vision for GamesCon in the next 3 years, to be able to have a regional presence in terms of a GamesCon event, and have these invited countries to come and participate in GamesCon. That's a 3-year plan, though,
Okay.
because it ain't gonna happen next year.
Yeah, that no for no thing.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's not gonna happen next year, because it really starts with building the community in Trinidad up to a level, and then trying to get the Caribbean islands to buy into that community as well.
Yep. So anything else from either Paul or Shalom?
No, I'm good. Sounds really interesting. The events to come.
Yeah. I think that's it for me as well.
Okay. Hopefully we'll see you guys in the future events.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks, Alphas.
All right, Paul and Christian.
All right.
Until
See you
next time.
Yep.
All right. So Kevin, so we'll talk more about the upcoming stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And after discussions and so on, if not by next podcast or within the future, you can always come back on and discuss it. Let
Sure.
the guys know exactly what we have in store.
Sure.
So, anything else? Anything you want to raise?
No, not me personally.
All right. Well, thanks for joining us.
You're welcome.
All right. So we'll talk soon.
Yes.
All
All right,
right.
Kevin.
All right.
Over and out.
Bye.
Okay. All right. So that was Kevin from ESCL, Dread or Paul from No Chill, and Shenlong or Christian from NLD discussing GamesCon. So enough at GamesCon for one night.
Yeah, very, very informative.
Mhm.
Right.
Indeed.
So on to our next thing.
Exciting.
TI 2017 Pub Stomp.
Mm-hmm.
Right. As we all, well, as not all, but a lot of us in the community will know, a pub stomp is basically a viewing party or lime for the DOTA, the international finals. right? So the TTDC, well, Trinidad and Tobago Dota Community, will be hosting one at the Island Bear Chill and Grill in One Woodbrook Place on August 12th, which would be the day of the international finals. Right?
Saturday.
Huh?
Next
What?
week Saturday.
Right, yeah. So that is actually wow, that is actually next week Saturday. Wow.
Yep. TI starts tomorrow.
Wow, yeah. So we actually are less than 2 weeks away, right? I hope everybody has gotten in their predictions for their compendiums. It is
Is it locked already or?
well, they have the first day should be locked today.
That's just the
That's for the
fantasy.
the fantasy, right?
Yeah, but
So
I think when the entire all the teams and so on, I think when that locks. You don't have.
yeah. Oh, you mean the other predictions for everything else? Yeah, those I'm not sure if there's a locked yet, but yeah, but definitely fantasy is every day it changes. So make sure and keep checking it out every day, right? So what are we supposed to expect at the pub storm, Shannon? It's
So at the pub sum, as he was saying, is it's a lime. So you're gonna meet your fellow those are two gamers or even just gamers who are interested. They're gonna come out and they're gonna look at these grand finals. I mean, everybody knows what a like say a football match or a cricket match grand finals is like. And those of you who have never experienced a pub sum, it's a really nice experience because we probably just accustomed looking at this game home, but you're bothered in your room by yourself when Big Ulti go off. But it's really nice to be among your peers, so looking at a Dota 2 event such as the International. And at the venue, now we partnered with Island Bear, as was mentioned. We're going to have the games up on their screens, on the projectors. And I believe you said Moku Gaming would be coming along.
yeah, they did say that they'll be making an appearance. So I mean, we even getting support from lol lol players. It's pretty amazing.
Yep. Yeah, because I mean, at the end of the day, whether or not you know the game, it's alive. And
Yeah, you know.
these sports, so the hype is there. So we're hoping that the community comes out to the pub stump. Should be a pretty awesome time. As mentioned, the venue is at One Woodbrook Place, Island Bear Chill and Grill. If you don't know where One Woodbrook Place is, that's behind the Roxy building at St. James. If you ever went to Digital IMAX, it's downstairs Digital IMAX, next to the FCB bank there. Right? It should be starting at about 1:30, and it would go until I think about 11 more, as long as TI finishes before that. But you don't have to leave after TI ends. You'll be there, lineman.
Yeah. So a good
Just
time.
remember, entrance is free. Yeah, no entry fee. However, please patronize the establishments. And it's a bar, so obviously 18 years and over. Just remember that.
Right. So Cole, you can come now.
Oh, really? You qualified?
Oh gosh. Excuse me while I die. But yeah, so hopefully we could see a great turnout and it'll be vibes.
What we're hoping to do is usually for TI we would have this sort of response. We have I don't know if you all saw they released the schedule going forward for the majors and the minors. As long as we have the desire there for people to come out and see a finals of one of these events, and the time actually fits in with our time, we'll try to have another event. It doesn't have to be in the same location because we noticed since we announced the event, since we got the approval, is that a lot of people are asking if it's in South. And personally, I would have liked it in South, but you know the issues in the road GamesCon. Men are afraid of the highways. We'll see how that goes. Along with that, many of you express the want or need for TTDC branded T-shirts. So as soon as we get confirmation on that, we would take orders, and you should be able to get your orders in for the pop sum. So we will let you all know more about that on the page. All right. Anything else on your end, Flus?
Right? No, that seems to be about it.
All right. So, thanks for listening, guys. Tune in next week. What we will do is we will be going over the group stage, which starts tomorrow, as mentioned before, and would end this weekend. So we discuss our thoughts on the group stage, what we like, what we didn't like, any epic moments, any epic fails we would have seen, and our expectations going into the main event, which starts on the 7th. Any further updates on the pub stump, we'll let you know. Anyone involved with the pub stump, we'll try to get them in on the podcast next week. And keep updated on our page, social media for any other news. So, unless you have anything else to say, Flus, I think we can end there.
Nope, I'm good with that. So I'm
Alright.
signing out.
Alright, I mean you're gonna play Watch.
No.
Sure, you don't launch already.
I don't know what you're talking about, Shannon. You don't know my life.
You don't know me. Alright, people. So until next time, I'll try out.
Alright, Trinity out.
Later.